Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
It's fucked up, so.
I followed you.
You are a follower.
I am.
World Series champions.
I'm not fat enough. It's an old one, obviously. 98, when the kids were young. There was a point where Jacob and Joseph
won. It must have
There's a
been
point where
it,
Jacob. I don't know. Jacob and Joseph. There was a point when they didn't know that you could. Well, no, they beat the Mets in like 2000, the Subway Series. It's like when Jacob and Joseph were little, they thought that's just what happens at the end of the baseball season. The Yankees go to the World Series. That's just what happens.
Yeah. They
We have our neighbors from Pittsburgh, and they're all Pirates fans, except one of the sons just liked Derek Jeter. And, you know, like 7 or 8 years old, he was a Yankee fan, and the Yankees were in the World Series, and he came over here to watch it every day because his father was rooting against the Yankees. And then the Yankees won, so we bought him a World Championship T-shirt.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's 2009. It looks like was the last time. Which is
that probably would have been the time that he came over and watched because they would have been old enough.
There was a little while where there was a picture of a little boy with a Yankees jersey on crying, and it said, this little boy has never had the Yankees win the World Series in his lifetime, but the Red Sox have won in his lifetime. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm sporting
it's a little bit of a self-own because it's acknowledging that for 100 years it was everyone else.
Yeah. Anyway,
that the Cubs not winning for 100 years, whatever, was part of my favorite game show moments. Have you ever seen the Hollywood Squares clip where Gilbert Gottfried was the last square? So this guy and this girl playing.
This is the late 90s version, not the 70s version.
Yeah, late 90s version because Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time, so I may have seen it.
So he was the last square left. And so it's like, oh, because it's 4-4, no one can get the win, but 5 squares a win, so Gilbert Gottfried for the win. And he gives a bullshit sounding answer, and the guy's like, disagree. And he yells, "You fool!" Which earlier in the show he had said. And it's like they go back, they do the full half-hour show. They only play the one first game because none of them can get a right answer. And clearly they run out of, they pre-screen the answers because everyone has a joke ready for every answer. But they run out of pre-screened things because he's making just like dumb jokes, like anything he could think of they're not off the top of his head. And then they keep getting it wrong. And like Penn and Teller were next to him and they're yelling, "You fool!" at the same time. Like they all know the right answer. They're all yelling at. Oh, it's so funny. It's a full half hour before somebody wins. Lee and I watch it every once in a while just to cry laughing.
Nice.
And you fool. Okay.
I'm wearing the Chocolate Diamond merch.
They look so good against your nipples.
I don't know if you can see in this light, but I got pointy nips. We did talk. Somebody at work a couple weeks ago was like, "Have you guys seen Kim Kardashian's new bras that have the built-in nipples?" And I did like this, and the person was like, "You're the reason I thought of it." I'm like, because I always have hard nipples. I just have tiny little pointy nipples.
It's because you grew up with Joel Schumacher's version of Batman with the nipple armor.
Even in rubber, I have nipples poking through.
A friend taught me this with his wife, so I used to do it to Madhavi all the time when we worked near each other and we'd go out for lunch. If I was dropping her off and I went to kiss her goodbye, I'd rub her breast real fast and go, "You going to the office with hard nipples."
No, I'm wearing this because it was on the top of the drawer. I'm like, oh, I'll wear, because my other one was my work shirt and I don't want to wear that. So I was like, I'll wear this. But these are available to be purchased. However, I really don't love the quality of the shirt itself. So I'm not promoting it.
This is the hard sell.
So we find
if you want an uncomfortable shirt,
it's not that it's uncomfortable. It's that
uncomfortable shirts for uncomfortable topics.
It's stained. It just doesn't seem to stay. It doesn't look clean no matter what I do. So
it looks like it's a chocolate diamond.
Yeah. Anyway, the point being, eventually we will find a better merch.
So chocolate diamonds are called chocolate diamonds because they have that slight tint of not being perfectly white. That's what our shirts are. This look is intentional. This is the chocolate diamond shade
You, I'm sure I've told you why we're called Chocolate Diamond.
because you're under pressure.
Well, that's the coal under
That's the
pressure.
diamond.
That's the
I know.
diamond, and
I'm not saying the other part. I'm not going to cancel prison.
and Adam and I, when we first became friends, were big fans of Scrubs, and I would call him Chocolate Bear, just like JD called Turk on that show. So anyway, that's that. We have already.
And I'm a Jew, so I own all media, hence chocolate diamond.
So anyway,
we had a very Jewish evening before we jump into our topic. My daughter had a date with a nice Jewish boy, a grad student from UNC. He was very nice. He was charming. He came to spend the afternoon with her, stayed for dinner, and we had Jewish food, Chinese.
Nice. Is he religiously Jewish or culturally Jewish?
90% culturally, a little bit of like he wouldn't say he's an atheist, I don't think, but he does say it's mostly cultural.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys like him, it sounds like. That's a good thing too.
We've met him a couple of times. They've done activism stuff together. Like he is like the lead person at UNC Chapel Hill for anti-gun violence stuff. So they got kicked out of the Capitol building together when they were protesting. They served on a panel together with one of our congressmen on community round town hall meeting on gun violence. They're both on the panel. So
nice.
Yes, we met him a couple times. So they've been friends for a while, and then he was like, "Hey, my parents are coming here for Thanksgiving, so I'm not leaving, but I don't have class. Want to get together?" She was like, "Sure." So, don't know if there'll be any sparks, but they had a lovely time hanging out together, and he was fun. We like him.
Good. Logan's a UNC fan now because we took him to the soccer game, the men's ACC championship a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago. So he's a fan.
Nice.
All right. Tonight's topic is religious art.
Oh, God. Oh, sorry, I was getting in the mood.
Yeah. No, I every once in a while, and I've had it on the list of topics for a long time, but every once in a while something will come on, and I'll be like, "Ooh, I like this. I forgot I like this song, or I forgot about the song. I like the song." It's almost always music, but I mean, obviously, like there's some very when you look at the old school religious artwork, like the Michelangelos and stuff. There's a lot of
the Obi-Wan Kenobi Jesus. I love that one.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the Charles Manson Jesus a lot too. But like the Sistine Chapel is gorgeous. And a little bit what do you call it? Subversive. So that's kind of cool too. It's little bits and pieces of that in there.
And what's funny is that people are more conservative now, religious people, than they were then. So things like nude Adam and like really nude, almost nude God, like it's offensive to people now what the Pope commissioned then.
Right. Yeah. But so yeah, and when I texted you about the topic, your response was, "I don't think there's anything." So this might be an all me.
Nah, there's plenty that I like. There's just nothing I can list by name. I mean, I can tell you like Sistine Chapel is beautiful. I have a fun story. When I went to one of my trips to Lyon, France, in Old Lyon, there's a Notre Dame of Lyon because it just means Our Lady. So, everyone hears Notre Dame and they think Paris, but like many French towns have a church they call Notre Dame in their town, And so my boss and I went, like we stayed for a day longer than the meeting was because she had never been out of America before. And I had been to the area once before on a business trip, so I could show you around a little bit. And we went to the church because it's gorgeous. It's stained glass, but this one, it's so focused on Mary that there are, and downstairs has statues from churches around the world with different versions of Mary. So there's some like from Latin America and from Africa, so that she looks different in every one because she looks culturally like where the statue came from. And my boss is a Methodist and doesn't know much about Catholicism. So at one point she said to me, "Why is there so much about Mary and so little bit about Jesus? Where's Jesus?" And I was like, "Well, he's the baby. Like he's in all these things." She goes, but why?" Like, I don't know how to explain to you the religion that yours is based on.
Yeah, you should just show her Talladega Nights, and when they get to the grace part, be like, "See, these people just like to think of them as 3 pound or 8 pound 3 ounce baby Jesus, and that's the Jesus they like to pray to. You can think of Jesus however you want to think of him.
Yeah, I guess
I like to
regular
think of him
Christians.
as like having a tuxedo T-shirt, like he's serious, but he's also there to party.
I like my Jesus is the Book of Revelation Jesus with a sword sticking out of his mouth. I like that one, sword
Nice.
mouth Jesus.
Sword mouth Jesus.
Yeah,
So,
but I was saying, but but that church is beautiful and all the art is beautiful. But it's just also humorous to me that she knows so little outside of her brand that she didn't understand why Mary was the focus of Notre Dame, Our Lady.
yeah, yeah. I when I was dating my ex-girlfriend, her mother, I don't remember if she had been raised Catholic. I don't think she was raised. I think her husband was Catholic. I forget. But she knew a little more about Catholicism than your average Protestant. And she was like, I don't understand. She's like, the Bible literally tells you not to worship false idols and not to have golden. And she's like, you guys are obsessed with Mary. I'm like, I'm not a Catholic, but she'd be like, you guys are obsessed with Mary
Praying to saints.
and there's there's literally like gold all over the fucking place. It's a little crazy, but
I mean, I think the loophole there is, God, when the Hebrews built a golden ox, they thought it was a god when they finished building it.
yeah,
You're not praying to statues because you think they're literal gods. It's just a focus point
yeah,
to look at while you're praying. It is weird that you pray to saints, or not you, but Catholics pray to saints to intercede with God, because that part seems like it's really weird. But then again, First Amendment is, "I am thy Lord God; thou shalt put no other gods before me." It's not. It's basically saying I'm the King God, because the Old Testament there were other gods.
yeah.
Yahweh was just the chief god in the Israeli pantheon.
So I like to think of Yahweh as being like Marlon Brando, and Jesus is like Al Pacino, and these other saints, they're like Clemenza and Tessio and Al Neri, and I'm forgetting the rest of the guys.
I'm
Mo
with you.
Green. So
None of them are. I forgot the Jewish guy's name. Damn
Mo
it.
Green.
No, the other Jewish guy.
Oh, Hyman Roth.
Hyman Roth. Yeah, none of them. Listen. Jesus worked with Hyman Roth. Jesus friends with Hyman Roth, but Jesus never trusted Hyman Roth.
Yeah. And then I like to think that Jesus, obviously, Fredo is Judas.
I know one.
Yeah. Yeah. Fredo go. I knew it was you, Judas. You broke my heart.
I'm smart. I'm a smart apostle, not dumb like people say.
That's my favorite. It's my favorite line to quote. I'm smart, not like people say, like dumb.
I didn't do that for
Wasn't
you.
my plan. Yeah,
I
you've
think I
told
did
me
it for
about.
some. No, but like somebody specifically asked me a year after I did all the blooper 1 minute videos to do Godfather 2, and then that's the scene I chose. It's my favorite Godfather 2 lines.
Yeah, you should do Godfather 3. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. It's the only line I remember from that movie.
I just remember that when Coppola, was it Sofia Coppola?
Yeah.
Yeah, when she dies, I was like, good.
In real life or in the movie?
Either. Actually, in real life, she's a fabulous director. She's
Yeah.
not a good actor. She shouldn't have been in the movie.
No.
She could have directed the movie. She could have been like second unit or first unit director. That's fine, because she's a brilliant director, but she's not a good actress.
No, I'm not a good actress either. So a big part of the timing for this topic. Big part of the timing for this topic.
Christmas time's coming.
Exactly.
Time's
and
coming.
as somebody, so
coming.
For you listening, this is the week after Thanksgiving. For us recording, today is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So, as somebody who worked retail for about 10 years and was stuck for listening to fucking Christmas music from usually before Black Friday all the way till December 27th or 8th every year for a decade, there was one thing that always drove me crazy, and that was that because they won't play religious Christmas music at Verizon or Home Depot or any of the other places that I worked, they were limited to basically like 7 songs. And then there'd be the random one, was it Four Non Blondes or whatever, that have that, like that really weird one. But then for the most part, it was like, let's hear 5 different versions of Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells. And you're like, okay, we get it. And so it would drive me crazy. And like, I get it.
And Jingle Bells is a Thanksgiving song. It's about going to grandma's house on Thanksgiving and riding in a one-horse open sleigh up. It originally was a Thanksgiving song. It just got blended in with Christmas songs eventually.
Yeah. Okay. I
Trivia
didn't
for
know
the
that.
day.
That's cool.
Yeah, little trivia for the day.
But there's lots of good. I would say that some of maybe this is just a bias from having to listen to the other shit for so long, but there's a lot of Christmas music that I prefer the religious stuff over the non-religious stuff. I like, to some extent, I think Silent Night is religious, and
Oh yeah,
Oh Holy Night,
yeah.
like these are, that I mentioned the Little Drummer Boy. I love the Little Drummer Boy. I know it's.
I love the Bing Crosby, David Bowie version of Little Drummer Boy. That's by far the best. Have you never heard that one?
No, I thought you were joking.
Oh, you must visit. No, you must visit YouTube. And speaking of Talladega Nights, John Riley and Will Ferrell did like a scene for scene recreation of it, where they didn't change any words. They just did the two of them singing the song dressed the way that Bowie and Bing Crosby were. Yeah, it's
Nice.
it was like on a Bing Crosby Christmas special, on TV. And it's Crosby's in this house. The doorbell rings. It's David Bowie's the neighbor, and he's coming to drop something off or something, or pick something up from the owner of the house that Bing was visiting. And they start playing around the piano and they sing Little Drummer Boy together. And it's like Bing Crosby, the king of bo, 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 and David Bowie, the best voice in the history of voices. It's an amazing. That's the only thing I like about Christmas is that that song comes around. So when we're done recording, you need to go to YouTube and look it up, and then you need to watch the Will Ferrell version right afterwards.
Yeah, and we'll share it in the show notes. But yeah, so Christmas music personally is like a thing where I end up liking. I like those two. I mentioned "Mary, Did You Know?" I don't know if you're familiar with that song at all. It's not. I don't think it ever got big.
Bell.
It's it's. I think it was actually a comedian that was like a musician also that wrote the song, and it kind of got picked up. I think it was big in like the country circuit in the '90s, and it was.
Grandpa got run over by reindeer.
No, that's but no, but it goes. Mary, did you know that your little boy would someday save the world or something? Like it's the words aren't amazing, but it's just melodically it's really good, and the words aren't the words aren't bad. They're just
so unless someone's going for a cash grab or some things that just came out of folk background and they were just fine. You got to think that when people sat down to write a religious song, people who were religious, they are pouring their heart and their so-called soul into it. I mean, that's why so much of classical music that was done holiday season stuff is, done for the church, is so forever classic, because they were doing like Michelangelo, right? Doing their best work because they were doing it for their immortal soul. So it makes sense that good stuff would come out of it.
Right. And that's what
it's really the cheesy stuff that's shitty. It's like the religious stuff is better than the stuff that's like, yeah, dad was beating mom like usual, but Jesus was behind the couch holding my hand and doing nothing to stop it, and that's why God's good, because he held my hand while I watched my mother be beaten.
Is that a specific?
There's a country song that goes like that.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm not familiar with this, but
yeah, where the kid is like, someone was behind the couch protecting me when mom was getting beaten up, and then like they're at church or they're somewhere where there's a picture of Jesus. That's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the one who was. And I was like, well, he didn't help you, did he? He held your hand. Why didn't he step in and save mom?
Yeah. I also, when it comes to Christmas music, I really hate some of the stuff that gets like, it tends to be like vaguely sexual, but also like
Caliente.
Yeah. Hey, no stealing other podcast shit.
He didn't write the word.
Yeah, that tone though.
But, sorry, Cecil.
But what was I saying? Oh, when it gets vaguely sexual,
you like porn with Santa Claus in it?
No. I think that it gets real weird and like, not that it's super sexual, but like I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus. I don't know, it's weird to me. I'm not like loving that one. I
That's supposed to be sweet. It's supposed to be the
Yeah,
realization that mom's um,
this pervy little
m-
peeping
they do
tom is
cosplay
watching.
sex.
Yeah, there's a little something for the patrons. Um, anyway, but no,
I
there's that
like
one. There is oh man, what's the other one?
Christmas shoes. I know you love that one.
That one's not sexual though.
It is if you look at it the right way.
The one there was another one I was thinking of that, but there's also the Santa Baby. So I'm gonna tell you a fun story. This will be. I don't think there's any reason why this can't go in the regular feed.
$7 level.
No, this is going in the freebie version because we need some good stories for the non-patrons too. Don't do that with your mouth. That's creeping me the fuck out. If you had
You
done
gotta
that on
watch
the
on YouTube.
intoxication episode, I'd have freaked the fuck out. When I was must have been a sophomore. I don't know. I was in high school. We would do a Christmas musical review every year. Instead of doing, the big play would be in the spring. The big musical would be in the spring. You'd do like Sound of Music or whatever. But at Christmas, there was a musical review. It would be, different like scenes and songs and dances and stuff, and it was never that bad. It was never that good, but it was there was one where the one guy who in our class or who looked kind of old enough to play Santa Claus, who looked kind of good. He fit the Santa Claus mold. He got cast as Santa Claus. His little sister is the one that they made sing Santa Baby because she had a good singing voice, and she had to do the most like Christian friendly version of a striptease, and
Yeah.
like for him, and like pulling out, they got the long gloves, and it was like Santa Baby, and I was like, we were all creeped the fuck out, and their middle sister, who was in our class, the sister between the two of them, she's like, you guys are making it weird. It's not weird. And we are like, no, it's fucking weird that your sister is stripping for your brother.
Hmm.
And now that brother and sister have children together. No, I'm just joking.
They might. Do you keep in touch? They might.
I kept in touch with for a long time, but no, they're just
They
weird.
may be from Alderaan.
They're just a weird fucking family. Yeah. He wasn't from Alderaan.
Yeah, it's just a Family Guy reference.
Oh.
There's a Family Guy. Princess Leia goes, Alderaan's basically the Arkansas of space.
Nice.
They're like, you kissed your brother. Yeah, I know. It's like the old joke with the teenage girl goes to her father and says, Dad, what's vice? And he's like, oh my God. And he sits down and he explains prostitution, he explains drugs, and then finally, after like red face, 20 minutes later, he's like, why do you ask? He goes, because I just made vice captain of the cheer team.
Yeah. All right.
So I like that Christmas song. Well, it's a year-long song. It's the holiday song that's about going out to buy cranberry sauce or some shit. And so a girl goes out to buy like last minute to like a bodega to buy something, and she runs into a guy, and he's cute. And, like every holiday, she kind of crosses paths with him. And then like the next year's Christmas, they're there to buy cranberry sauce again. And they run into each other, and they become a couple.
Oh, I have not heard this one.
It's a cute. It's not very religious, but it's a cute little Christmas song.
Yeah.
So my dad's a bluegrasser.
Yep.
And if one of his friends, former friend of his, because she's been dead for 10 years, 20, more than 20 years. But this woman, Lil, used to sing it's a classic folk song called Christmas Time's a Coming. I don't know if you've ever heard a version of it. It's Christmas time's coming, Christmas time's a coming, Christmas time's coming, and now I'm going home. Can hear them bells ringing, ringing, joy to all hear them ringing. So that's the song, right? And a friend of ours always had a New Year's Eve party, and at midnight, they'd stop everything and play that, and Lil would sing that song so she can always know that she did the first Christmas carol for the new year. She did it on midnight on January 1st.
Nice. So this is bad of me, but when you started saying that she was his former friend, and then you said that because she's dead, I was like, oh, I thought that they had falling out.
Oh, thank God. God, she's dead.
I did. I genuinely was like invested.
Moment of relief.
Like, wait, what had happened with them? And then
I'm so happy they're
just
dead.
Okay, good.
Most of his friends were older than him, so most of them are dead.
Yeah,
it's a handful still. It's always a surprise.
Hey, when you get to your dad's what, 80 something?
Yeah, 86 as of 4 days ago.
Okay, when you get to 86, most of the people your age are dead.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's just a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, I went, and a lot of his music friends were a couple of years older and whatever. It's funny that actually on his, on Facebook, a guy who used to play music with him was just a couple of years older than me. Posted like a happy birthday to him and said, "And mom and dad say happy birthday too." And I was like, his parents are still alive? And my dad's like, yeah, they're in their mid 90s, but they are, yeah, they are.
Nice,
Because I knew they were older than my dad, so I just assumed they were.
cool. All right.
So what's your favorite Hanukkah songs?
They're by an artist that I'm wondering if you've heard of him. His name is
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. No, I like Dreidel, Dreidel, Dreidel. I don't know. Is that if Dreidel, Dreidel, Dreidel is probably not really religious though either.
Not particularly. It's a little kids thing about it, the rules of the game.
So I don't know. Is there any religious Hanukkah songs that are definitely
yeah. So the one classic one is in English is Oh Hanukkah, Oh Hanukkah. And man, I don't know the Hebrew because I don't speak Hebrew, but like it's done in Hebrew and English. And it's Oh Hanukkah, Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. We'll all have a party and all dance the hora, which is a bad English translation to make it rhyme. But
sure.
Yeah, but
so it's a rip off of Oh Christmas Tree, Oh Christmas Tree.
Well, Tannenbaum's a Jewish name. Come on. But if you remember the good old Peter, Paul, and Mary from the '60s,
I've puffed the Magic Dragon before.
Yeah, Peter Yarrow, Peter, Paul, and Mary wrote a song called "Light One Candle." That is, it's like everything else they did. It's kind of a anti-war peace song, but it's the closest to a religious song that I know. It's light one candle, meaning the Hanukkah candles. Just light one candle for the Maccabee children to show their flame did not die. Light one candle for the Maccabee children. And then it goes to like, it's important to know when peacemakers' time is at hand and it's time for peace and we need to get together. Blah 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 blah. And it's a good one. It's one of the prettier holiday songs.
Nice.
But before, when you were talking about your mother, whatever that's the other song, whatever it was, and I said, "Grandpa got run over by a reindeer." You do know that one. You grew up on that, right?
Yeah, but it's not religious.
Well, I mean, it's got a miracle in it. The flying reindeer. Isn't that Jesus?
It's superstitious. Reindeer? I don't know.
I have trouble keeping track which parts are religious and which parts aren't.
I don't think that the flying reindeer.
Which part is he knows if you're good or bad, and he can see everywhere, and he keeps lists of you. And if you're bad, you get punished, and if you're good, you get rewarded. Is that not the religious part?
I think it's a metaphor for religion, I suppose. But
I never understood.
It's removed enough that I like.
I thought it's weird that you have the story of Santa, and he's worried about if you're good or bad, and he rewards you or he punishes you. And then at some point, people say, you know what, that's not true. But let me tell you about Jesus. See, Jesus is keeping track if you're good or bad. And then when you die, he either rewards you or he punishes you. And nobody goes, wait, is there a connection there?
He doesn't punish you. You punish yourself by doing. I had a thought and then it escaped.
It was lonely.
Yeah, it was lonely. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, I did have. I don't know.
I like that religious song about punk kids beating up Santa Claus. Father Christmas, give us your money. That one. You don't know that? How do you not know that?
I don't know.
I forget.
It doesn't have to all be Christmas stuff either. I mean, Christmas tends to be the one spot where I think some of the religious artistry is the best. But one song that I want to talk about when you get a minute.
No, I have to text you that it's a Kinks. How do you not know the Kinks?
I know the Kinks. They're the one that did Lola, right?
They did. They did her hard.
I know them, and I know that song, and I know the Weird Al version, Yoda.
Yoda. Okay, so more stuff you have to listen to later.
I'll have to include it all in the show notes. One song that I think that you're probably going to say isn't super religious, and it probably isn't, but I think it's kind of a juxtaposition between faith and other parts of life, is Alleluia by you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's about sex, but it's about faith. Isn't it about like the crossover between like sexual, freedom and love and pleasure and faith and all that. Like, isn't it like all these things coming together, making it almost a spiritual experience? Like, there is some.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like one religion, but it's vaguely religious. I'm counting it because it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, it's a good song, but it's funny because I always think of all the ironic uses of it, like in Watchmen. There's all these different things where people being tortured and people being beaten, and they play that in the background so often.
Shrek, I think, had one of it. One of the Shrek movies had it. Yeah, it is one of those songs that's got some.
So let's look at these religious lines. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, and that's King David watching his friend's wife bathe on the roof. That's religious. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew her. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throne and cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah.
That's Samson and
Yeah,
Delilah.
so it's yeah. So it's
I know
like
my Bible shit.
Sometimes. Maybe there's a God above.
And something, something, something. Hallelujah.
Delightful.
It's a great song.
I mean, it's a good song. It is.
And I know it's not strictly religious, but it like feels like it's a reach, but whatever. How about religious movies? I liked. This is gonna be
like Dune.
Dune, yeah, I haven't seen Dune yet. I need to. I bought it, but I haven't seen it. Came in like a big. I got it. There was on Halloween. There was 25 movies for $30, and it was like a one night only thing on Apple. And Dune was one of the 25. Okay,
I'm back.
Give it to me, Barney. What about Pretty Fly for a Rabbi?
Oh yeah, that's very religious.
Give it to me, Barney. Oy vey, oy vey. And all the goyim say, pretty fly for a rabbi.
I like Bernie Sanders' version of that. He recorded it in the 80s. It was really nice.
Yeah, I like the recording that he had this week, where he.
You're a senator.
You're a fucking senator. Sit your ass down.
That guy though, that senator who was doing it, he's like a former cage fighter. Like it would have been an interesting fight, a cage fighter versus a teamster.
Yeah, that would have been SmackDown.
I would have been interested in watching that one.
Yeah,
I like his defense too. Like, first, I'm from Oklahoma. That's how we do things, and it wasn't unusual, like in the 1700s, for people to be violent.
Yeah,
but that your originalism is going a little too far.
I saw a video today. I follow a guy on Instagram. He stitches misogyny shit and like debunks it. You'd like him. I'll send you his stuff. I can't remember his name. It's like Professor Neil or something. But he was stitching a video of a guy talking about how it's so it's taboo right now for a 40-year-old to have sex with a 15-year-old, but hundreds of years ago it wasn't a big deal, and that's just because society's made it a big deal.
True.
I mean,
they were correct to.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Yeah, and that's what
true.
That's what the guy debunking said. Kind of was like, yeah.
That's because we were wrong then.
He goes like 50 years ago, it would have been not a big deal for me to come on here and say a bunch of shit about gay people. So, like, yeah, it would. We could go back and like society could make that cool.
Older
again.
does not mean more moral, right?
Right.
But that's the same thing with what was the Alabama, was it Roy Blunt or one of the Alabama politicians who got, they say, back when it came out that when he was in his 30s, a lawyer in his 30s and 40s, he would go to the mall and cruise teenage chicks. And Roy Moore. And it's like, but that's like not a weird thing for that time, for the 70s, 1970s in the South.
Yeah.
That's creepy as hell, but they were creepy as hell. Like he wasn't the only 30-year-old doing that. Like that was normal. And like he used to say, their parents always knew because they were creepy as hell.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it better. It just makes it, you were one of many creepy people.
Yeah. Okay, so back to speaking of religious stuff.
That's my religion. We worship at that temple, baby.
No, I was going to say that all that shit is, justifiable by religion. So, Um, so obviously, you and I come at religion differently, just from you really never being raised religiously and me being raised religiously. So maybe I wonder how much of my enjoyment of religious artwork is a factor in, like, not being fully deprogrammed. The only example that I can think of where I think, like, if I were to rewatch it, I would like, if I liked it still, I would probably be like, oh, that is Passion of the Christ. I haven't seen that since it came out. Actually, I watched it at least 3 times the year that it came out, but I don't think I've seen it since then. But like, I wouldn't have called myself Catholic at that point, but I was certainly still religious, and I thought that it was good art at that point in time. Now, like I said, that movie's what,
I'm
20?
not into torture porn, so I never saw it.
No, it's 18 or 19 years old, so I haven't seen it in a very long time.
It's got to be longer than that.
I was in college when it came out, and I graduated high school in 2003.
Really?
I'm thinking it was like early. I think it was Easter of 2004. So I think it's about to turn 20.
Passion of the Christ.
Just in
2004.
time.
Very good. You're right.
Yeah, well, I was not in college very long that first
Yeah,
round.
I guess because I was a Glac. Yeah, I was a Glac, so it was. So one of my favorite stories with Passion of the Christ. So that was a GSK at the time, and we had a drug called Wellbutrin, which antidepressant.
Yeah, I've taken it.
And we were advertising it at.
I was on it at that point in time, actually.
Yeah, we were advertising it at NASCAR. So Bobby Labonte, car number 18, was like, we were one of the sponsors of the car, and we'd go through different drugs, having like the logos on the car. And the main reason was because you get to do a press release at the same time of it and say, oh, we're supporting this. So it's really for the PR more than it's for seeing the logo on the car. It was for everything else that goes along with it.
Yep.
But at one point there was a picture that went in a paper in a like the Charlotte Observer or something like that, and we had a screenshot of it from the web page, and it was a picture of our car, and there's a huge Passion of the Christ logo on the hood, but underneath it says Wellbutrin. Like, that seems to go together well. Let's torture our Lord and Savior to death, and then maybe we need antidepressant. Maybe we need to level out a little bit after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't think that, like, I mean, I've been out of Catholicism basically my entire adult life.
Same. I've been out of Catholicism my entire life as well.
Yeah, no, my entire adult life. So, like, I think that most of the like the weird hangups that you get are now more like generically Christian in a lot of ways. That I still have, Sarah always, if I go with my family to like a christening or something, Sarah's always amazed at how quickly I'm just like, Our Father who art, like, just into the rote memorization of it all. But and then they switched the thing around, so it's no longer peace. It's no longer, and also with you, it's something else. So that to trick all of us who don't come every year to basically expose ourselves. Yeah.
Jesus changed his mind. He changed the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can eat beef on Friday. Knock yourself out.
There's definitely a guy in hell doing a Eon on a jerky wrap. It was just a jerky.
There was one time, yeah. That's another George Carlin thing. Yeah. And there was a time when I was my fraternity in Brooklyn. We went out and got like dozens of eggs, and we egged the hell out of the fraternity house across the street. And it was right like during spring break. Like most people weren't around anymore, so it's just like 3 of us who did it. And then it was like late at night, it's on Thursday night, and then we went out. So we egged this thing, and we were drinking, and we went out to Dunkin' Donuts, and because we wanted to feel like we were connected to you, and they had just started selling their croissant sandwiches, I think, back then, and or maybe their bagel sandwich, maybe bagel sandwich, but the sandwiches. And so I got a ham sandwich, and the 2 of them got roast beef, and we're eating it, and one of the guys goes, "Hey, look at that! The Jew is eating a ham. What kind of Jew are you eating a ham?" And I was like, "Dude, it's 12:45 a.m. on a Friday in Lent, and you're eating roast beef." And he looked at it and goes, "Shit."
Yep.
It's like, we're all going to hell.
I went to Catholic school from 5th to 12th. And so, like, on Fridays, there was no meat served. You could get fish or you could get vegetables.
That's why McDonald's has a fish fillet sandwich.
Yeah, but I mean at the cafeteria. But I would still, even given that, I would always forget. And I'd go home. I'd be like on my way home, and I'd grab like a Slim Jim. You know, I'd walk home from school.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Macho Man Randy Savage.
He's back on the advertisements again. We saw it in the grocery store the other day. It's like all retro and shit.
Nice. Have you seen the clip of him on Arsenio?
Does not ring a bell off the top of my head.
Oh, he's talking about Macho Man cries. It's not doesn't make
Macho
Man not.
I haven't seen it in years, but
it's it's like, oh, dude, like 30 years.
All men should cry.
Yeah. When something's emotional, you cry, and it's like, dude, like you do not expect. There's a Cat Williams line about how he learned something from Flava Flav, and he said, "You don't expect to learn something from a guy with Viking horns and a clock around his neck that's always wrong." And he goes, "But I learned something from him." And I feel like Macho Man with his like all his gear and him just being like, "Yeah, Macho Man cry," and I was like,
yeah.
Yep. So
it's not like the Incredible Hulk. Macho Man cry.
Well, he talked about it in that third person weird way in that interview.
Yeah, he was in character 100%. Yeah. A friend of mine who used to work security in the airport here in Raleigh, and she says one time she heard, "Excuse me," and she went, and she turned, and sure enough, it's Macho Man. And he was here to do promotion for Slim Jim, like as the company was in North Carolina that made them. And I was like, she told me the story, and I said, "You know what's great? One of my current coworkers worked in PR for that company then, and she was his handler. Like she spent the week with him." Like, so nice. 2 people I know met Macho Man the same week.
Nice. Sarah was at an airport. This is while Trump was president. She was at Logan Airport in Boston, and this guy is walking by, and he's got a bunch of security details, and he's in the terminal with a bunch of security details. Sarah goes to like the ticket agent or whatever. She's like, "Who's that guy?" And the ticket agent goes, "It's Joe Biden." And she's like, "The vice president?" And he goes, "Yeah." So this was obviously before he was president. So.
Well, I mean, he was never actually elected president.
All right.
Let's be serious.
We're gonna court that audience now.
Trump is still president. He does everything through Biden. Yeah. So my other favorite religious art, I'm gonna go with some other visual art. Marc Chagall. You know a lot of Chagall art, don't you? Chagall had a lot of Old Testament, because he's Jewish, but Old Testament inspired artwork. Like there's one that's like the angel coming down to stop Abraham from sacrificing Isaac and stuff. And his stuff was just, it's primitive looking, but just raw emotion. Like you can feel his anguish and pain in every picture he does. Mm-hmm. Some of his religious stuff, it's not beautiful, but it's emotionally powerful.
Yeah. I love The Last Supper.
What'd you have?
I actually
matzah.
If I'm looking, I just pulled it up. I'm looking at it right now, and I got to be honest, it's good, it's fine. But
everybody get on the same side of the table so I can get a picture.
I like the parodies. I think I like the jokes about it more, and some of these retouched ones look fucking weird as shit.
So
that might be stained glass version.
So I have a copy of The Last Supper up in my closet. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, I do. So years ago, my comedy group, a couple of us did the complete Bible abridged by the Reduced Shakespeare Company, and one of the gags in it is we had a friend of mine who was an artist, coworker of mine, come out and project onto like a super large canvas the Last Supper and like kind of project it and then trace it with pencil and then go back and paint it. So we have painting of the Last Supper missing Jesus and with all the apostles' faces cut out, and then like their names are written on it. So the gag is one of the guys plays Jesus and he sits down next to the painting and he's talking to the different apostles, and the other two people, it's a 3-person show, are running around backstage, back behind the canvas, sticking our faces in the holes, and then it's it's like Simon blah 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 and sticks face up. Simon, why are you talking like Thomas? Like, oh crap, and go back and go in the other hole and stuff. And I have that big giant canvas upstairs in my bedroom closet rolled up. And I think next time we're at my triangle free thought is tabling at an event like Pride or something, or I want to hang it up and have like a sign so I take a picture as an apostle where let people come and put their faces through. We'll take a picture with their phone.
All right. And with that, we will bid you adieu. No.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Like this video, it really helps us a lot. Ring the notification bell so you'll get little pop-ups. Enable notifications on your phone. You don't want to miss any of these things. You don't want to miss the episode where I randomly look like I was drinking from a water goblet, like nonstop. It's really funny and nobody's mentioned it yet.
When did you randomly look like you were drinking from
I don't have to go back and look. There's one where I'm sitting next to a platter of plastic water goblets that were a prop for a play. So one time while we were talking, I would pretend to sip, put it to my right, grab another one, pretend to sip. You didn't notice I was doing it. I just did it through the entire pot. And then I went back the other way. It was like glasses were just passing backwards and forwards in front of me. And
not only did I not.
You edited it.
I edited it, but I don't really watch. I listen more than I watch when I'm editing.
It's just especially like now one glass and another glass and another glass.
You and your
shenanigans. I love the shenanigans.
All right. So yeah, if you do that, please. If you're on YouTube. if you're listening on any other audio thing and some other podcast thing, make sure to like it in whatever podcast you're doing it. If you're in a podcast program that lets you rate it, please give us the highest rating possible and say something funny in your rating. We're funny people. We would appreciate it. You know what? No matter what podcast program you use, go on to iTunes. Find us on iTunes and give us a 5-star review there and rate it there. Even if you don't use iTunes, it's not a sin. Go ahead and do it. Give us a good rating. How's it going to hurt you? Tell a couple of friends to watch it. Tell them you think we're weird, you don't agree with anything we said, but they should watch, they should listen. Make their lives as good as yours is by bringing us into it. Yep. And lastly, if you would like to support us in a financial way, you can go on patreon.com/talking about the big stuff. We have a $3 and a $10 option. We are putting out stuff for both. There's like little special bits and pieces.
Mike puts out, I'm happily married.
Yeah, I'm happily married as well.
I just also put out.
But anyway, so there is stuff on there for you if you want to get on the $10 or the $3. If you're on Apple and you only want to do the $3 option, Apple now allows you to subscribe for $3. They don't let you do tiers, so we're only doing the $3 option for that one.
But if you shed a tier, that's okay.
Yes. Anyway, Matthew, you get.
I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to us talking about the big stuff. Hopefully, it was a religious experience.
Great.